Today will be lesson 22 in instructional videos for Master Kuo Lien Ying's original Guang Ping Taiji form. And today we're going to be working on two moves on the ending section. In the last lesson, I did a demonstration of what the entire ending section looks like. And as I said in that video, many of the moves will be repeated from earlier in the form. So you're only going to learn one or two moves out of the sequences that we'll be learning today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it from the last lesson, a review of what we learned. Again, the ending section starts from fan through the arm, the second repeat, facing that way. And then we'll take it from there, from the last lesson. So start off with a fan through the arm. And this is the 4-move sequence where you do deflect to the left, and then the push, and then strike opponent's ears with fist, and then screw sky cannon. Then you came back into transition for single whip. Then wave hand like clouds. So this is where we ended last lesson. So we'll start from there. Again, the next move will be cross wave of water lily and kick, and then downward fist. So we'll learn those two moves, and then from there you go into grass bird tail and come back with single whip, wave hand like clouds, and then single whip. And as I discussed in the last video, this section is fairly simple in the direction. It goes back and forth, 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock, back to 3 o'clock, back and forth. And the main moves are at the end of the section where you do single whip, wave hand like clouds, and then single whip. So you basically have different moves on each end of those series. So that's an easy way to remember it. So I'll do it facing this way, where in the direction that you would if I was starting facing the camera from single whip. From here, we're going to do high pat on horse. And again, being a repeat, earlier in the form, you did single whip in this direction, and then high pat on horse, and then step up, separation of right and left foot. So this high pat on horse is exactly the same, except you're going to be facing 180 degrees in a different direction. So from single whip, you do high pat on the horse, same way. And again, as I pointed out, in high pat on horse, in the early days in Portsmouth Square, we just kind of came to this position. But later on, I modified it a little bit from understanding to kind of coming down, like kind of a quarter circle down. So again, you can do it either way. High pat on horse here. I like to do it like this. From here, we're going to step out on the 45. Here, 45 degrees on the straight line. And then I'm not going to do the hand thing right now because I wanted to show you the movement of the kick. The kick comes like a crescent kick and then comes back in the same place. So in the kick, you're going to come up, weight on your left foot, and then come back down into the horse. So again, here, the kick is going to go in a circle and come back down like that. The kick is relaxed and straight leg with a pointed toe. So from here down. Okay, it's not toe back, and it's not a snapping kick like that. This comes up and then back around here. And you want the force coming horizontal across on the highest part here. So it comes through to the left and then out to the right like that. So it's a horizontal circle is what you want. Again, let me face the camera in this way. So from here, you're on the 45, and you're going to come up, weight it on the left, and then circle back to the same horse position. And again, for learning, it's actually good if you just practice the kick without the hand action. And hand action is pretty simple. You're just kind of coming down as you slap the kick, but let's do the kick without the slapping first. Here, you need to come up off your balance onto the left so that you be more balanced. If you keep your weight back, then you're going to kind of lose your balance as you come back. So you need to kind of shift forward a little bit and then come back down. Here, shift forward and then down. Only kick as high as you feel comfortable. Don't overstrain. The important detail is to try to keep the kick fairly relaxed and come through horizontally. Is what the idea is. From here, horizontal. Here, horizontal. You notice that my kick has to come actually through almost past the center from here to get to that horizontal. If I come up too much through the center, then it comes just like a regular straight leg kick. So you need to kind of get your kick coming like this. That's why I want you to practice just the kick by itself. Here, and then spread out. Here, come through over here, and then whip it out this way. That. That. Okay, so from single whip again, come back to high pat on horse. Now you're on a erect stance, up and down, straight up and down. And then you step out deep into the horse. So how far do you step? It's just based on your comfort level and your ability to kick out of that. If you step out too deep, then you're going to have to really transfer further in order to get that kick. So from high pat on horse, as you step out, and also as you step out, you don't have to step out and sink in the horse and then do the kick. You could step in and go right into the kick as well. So whatever you feel balanced and comfortable is really the key. From here, I like to step out and then do the kick. From here, like that. And then you come back to the same place. From here, all you're going to do with the hand, kind of tip them down as you kick passes through and hit 1, 2. So 1, 2, back down. So I didn't do anything with my hands other than just kind of dropping the hand down so the kick makes the contact. From here, I pat on horse, standing erect, step out on a 45, get the circular crescent kick, and then come back down to 45. So, and then do it in this direction, single whip, come back, high pat on horse, step out, and then the kick, here. So from this position here, you're going to just drop down with the punch. Punch straight down, and this one comes blocking towards the forehead. I'm doing it facing the camera so you can get a better angle of what it looks like. Elbow stays fairly low, not raised up, opening up this, protecting the ribs as you do protect the forehead from action coming in. and then punches straight down. So let's take that from single whip, come up high, high, high pat on horse, step out, cross wave a water lily kick, and then punch down. As you punch down, you want to drop down and sink. So after here, cross wave a water lily kick, punch down, and then you're going to be facing the same direction on the line. Okay, so let's do it in the direction that it's supposed to be. Single whip, high pat on horse, step out, cross wave a water lily kick, and then punch down. When you punch down, facing straight on the line. Don't turn and face this way, straight on the line. From here, after the strike downward fist, you're going to step up on the 45 and come up to a neutral position. Hands kind of in front of your pelvic bones. Then step out, form the T for grass bird tail, come back, and this grass bird tail, you step forward. So again, this is not a new move, it's a repeat, slight variation from the movement that you're coming out, but the move is the same as the second grass bird tail with a step up. And where we encountered it in the earlier part of the form was from Fairly Lee Works at Shadows, and just step out and then step up. So Fairly Lee Works at Shadows, step up, grass bird tail, and step up. So here, after the downward fist, you're going to just pivot on this line, come up to the neutral, step out on the 45, walk back, and follow step up. Okay, so I'll do that whole sequence facing the camera again so you can see. So single whip, high pat on horse, step out, cross wave a water lily kick, and then downward fist. And from here, I'm going to pivot, step up, go out on the 45, rock back, and as I come forward, follow step with a push. So be facing in that direction. Okay, so then in the series, we'll repeat it one more time. Single whip after you do wave hand like clouds. Come back to high pat on horse. Step out, cross wave a water lily kick. Downward fist. Pivot. Step out on the 45. And step up for grass bird tail. Now you're going to do your transition to single whip. Wave hand like clouds. And then you're going to finish on single whip. So although it looks like a long section, it's not really, because you've learned a lot of the moves already. So don't get confused by the difficulty of how many moves you have to remember in this lesson. Again, in learning a form, the more you can kind of see the relationship of the sequences and the movements in the video where I did kind of categorizing movements, This allows you to see the series of single whip, wave hand like clouds, single whip as kind of its own little section, and then you kind of insert that section wherever you need it in the form. By viewing the movements that way, it's easier than just to have to remember, okay, I'm doing single whip, wave hand like cloud, single whip, and then it's kind of like you have to remember 3 moves instead of just one section. In just general learning, you start off with many bits of information, and then as you can see the relationship, those bits of information, sometimes the ABC becomes just 1 bit rather than 3 bits. And exactly the same way in the methodology of what I try to teach, I try to give you a more coherent view of the form so that you can kind of generalize and see it as a section or see it as like a certain section of repeated movements, or actually you could see it as a variation of movement, like grass bird's tail. We learned it one way and then we learned it a second way, and this is grass bird's tail with the step up rather than stepping back and out. So when you start to show those relationships, it really helps you in your Tai Chi form, because you can kind of learn what you need to learn and then repeat what you can repeat. And also it helps you kind of get a different view of how these movements are repeated through the form, but kind of done differently. And it kind of opens you up to learning how to adapt your movement to whatever you have to do necessarily. For example, back there when we did earlier work the shadows, I ended up on the opposite side because I was just kind of not thinking about it too much, and I adapted it just a step forward. So once you become at the end of the form, you'll become much more fluent with your adaptability to the movements. So let's take that one more time, what we're learning today. I'm going to do it in the direction that you'll be going in. So it comes out of the last single whip. And then you do high pat on horse, step out on a 45, do the cross wave of water lily kick, and then drop down for downward fist. Pivot, step up, grass bird tail, step up, and then single whip, wave hand like clouds, however many you need to do, and then back to single whip. And for the demonstration, so you can see the moves more clearly, I kind of kept it in the center. You need to know where you are in the form and where you're going. That's one key to performing the form in the space that you've allotted. It's important to note that as you do the grass bird tail, you want to step up, you want to be on the furthest distance to this side that you can. Give yourself room, because when you do single whip, wave hand like clouds, you're gonna have to go down and step up to form 7 stars. And that'd be the furthest in this line that you're gonna go. So you don't have to allow a huge amount of space, but you have to allow room for this next movement. And then you're gonna come back. So again, we'll be taking that into the next lesson. But again, having an idea of what is going to come next is very important in where you do the spacing for your single whip wave hand like clouds. And that's one of the reasons why you have a variable amount of times repetitions that you do for wave hand like clouds. That kind of helps you adjust for the spatial distance that you need within the given space. So okay, so one more thing. In the downward fist, the punch is facing this way, not this way. And again, elbow is low, arm is about a 45-degree, and it's also um, emphasized that this wrist is not perfectly straight, but it's kind of relaxed and bent in like that. So after crossing of the water lily kick, just relax from the wrist, bent in, 45, elbow low, just straight down, knuckles facing forward. That's a detail I forgot to mention when we're learning. Okay, so let's do it one more time, final time, and then this time I'll just do it so that you can see what the rhythm looks like. Um, kind of as I'm teaching, I kind of try to want to break it up and point out the details so that you know exactly where to put your feet and direction of the fist and all that. But it's good to just do it as it's performed so you can kind of see the rhythm and tempo. Again, how you perform it is not necessarily exactly the same every time, just depends on what you want to emphasize. So um, it's generally the same, but it's expressed can be expressed many different ways. And I'll do an entire video talking about expression and fluidity and all that. But for now, I just want to give you an idea of what it should look like. Okay, that's the lesson for today. We're getting really close to the end of the form. Just a few more lessons, and that'll be the entire form. And if you followed from the beginning, trying to learn the form through these lessons, congratulations for sticking with it and watching my videos. Also, if you're a more advanced practitioner, I hope I've given you like lots of tidbits and information along the way and clarification of the specifics of the movements as Sifu Guo taught in Portsmouth Square. And that's the intention of these videos is to kind of clarify what he taught to all the students in Portsmouth Square during that era from the 1960s to the 1980s. And for practitioners who come down through other branches of the lineage, I just kind of wanted to share how Sifu taught it as opposed to probably or how um, other teachers might have modified it or whatever, going back to his original style was what I call it. Okay, thank you very much.